I've ridden VelociCoaster twice now, once in the front, once in the back of the coaster, once through the regular queue, once through the single rider line. And in this video, I'm going to give you all the info I wish I had known before I got in line for that ride, because that is very important which line you get in, which queue you get in. First of all, I love roller coasters. I love them. That was the most intense roller coaster I've ever been on in my life. That is not for the faint of heart. Personally, I think that is more intense than Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket or the Hulk, either one. It is a serious roller coaster. You are out of your seat a lot. I'd heard that you come out of your seat a little bit in that one. I kind of figured it was probably like Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. There's a couple times in Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket where you come up out of your seat. I felt like I was out of my seat almost as much as I was in my seat. After it was over, one of the team members at the lockers was talking to me about it. He said that you were out of your seat for a total of 21 seconds during the ride. And I believe it is every bit of that 21 seconds. You were out of your seat a lot in that ride. When you go over the hi-hat and start coming down the hill, I mean, your feet are kind of dangling anyway. But man, on that one, like, you feel like you were coming out of that seat. And then on the last little barrel roll corkscrew over the water, you feel like you're going in the water. It's unbelievable. The first launch, you get going pretty good, real quick. But man, that second launch, you're going real fast, real quick. Some tips and some things that I think you need to know. When you walk up to the queue, the regular queue is to the left, the single rider queue is to the right. I went through the single rider queue thinking it would be faster. The posted wait time was 35 minutes. It was not faster. I think it was probably much faster to go through the regular queue than it was the single rider line. I got up to the lockers really quick. I was at the lockers in 8 minutes, and I was like, man, this is going to be great. The team member helping me at the lockers told me, he said, is this your first time riding it? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, next time go through the regular queue so you can see all the, the raptors and stuff like that. But he said, also, it's just faster. He said, on most rides, it's actually faster to go through the regular queue than it is the single rider line. But I totally believe it for that line, because when we got up to the second floor, the regular queue line was coming around us, and we were going up through the middle of that, the way it's organized, going up through the middle of the regular queue. It felt like people were lapping us in the regular queue. I mean, we see them come up the stairs, go all the way around behind us, all the way right in, and we move like one step, and they've gone through the whole thing. I mean, it felt like that if we're on a racetrack, they were lapping us. I mean, it was just, it wasn't even comparable. So don't do the single rider line. Go through the regular queue. First of all, you get to see all this stuff, and it's way faster. Another thing, when I got up to the top there, they actually had a line where you could go over to the side and wait for the front row. So I was like, boo, yeah, I'm gonna ride the front row. I was not given that option because I was in the single rider line. And when I got up, I said, can I go wait over there? And they said, that's not an option for single riders. I mean, it really was like, if there happened to be a group of three or something, it'd be like, okay, one of y'all go, and you got told where to go. Which, I mean, that's fine, but it was almost like you're kind of forgotten about in the single rider line until, oh, wait, here's an open spot. Okay, one of y'all go. That's why the regular queue is so much faster, because, I mean, people were just going. And you can only wait for that front row if you're in the regular queue. That's the only way you can wait for it. So tomorrow we're going to go back, and I'm going to try to go through the regular queue and get on that front row line. One other thing that I think you need to know. The lockers, all the lockers, these are unique in that you put your stuff in on one side, you get it out on the other side. There's an attendant there helping people, but the single rider lockers are way far away from all the other lockers. And so when you come off the ride, all the lockers are right there at the base of the stairs, except the single rider lockers, and they're down the hall. So, if you get in the single rider line, you're looking for where your locker is, now you know where. But overall, man, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So having ridden it back-to-back days now, I can tell you firsthand experience, the regular queue is definitely faster than the single rider queue. I went through the regular queue today, and both days it was the same exact posted wait time, 35 minutes. Yesterday through the single rider line, it took 40 minutes to get through it. Today in the regular queue, 21 minutes. That's it. Now, when I got to the front, I wanted to ride, and when I got to through the end of the queue, I wanted to ride in the front row, so I went over to the side to that, wait for the front row line. And I had to wait about another 5, maybe 6 minutes, if that, to get on the front row, which, I mean, that's definitely worth it. And having ridden it on the front and the back now, because yesterday I was in the next to last row. And so on the front today, personally, I love the front way better. You could see everything, especially when you go over that hi-hat start coming down. I mean, you could see everything. It was awesome. The view, but that's just me. I love being able to see the stuff that I'm riding. You know, I love to be able to see all the scenery and everything. And so for me, I would ride in the front row if possible. But the only way you can do that is if you go through the regular queue, because if you go through the single rider line, that's not a choice. There was one other interesting thing was one of the riders on the ride with me asked, as we were waiting to get on the thing, he asked the team member working the ride, he said, "Do you think this is the best ride at Universal?" And the guy said, "This is the best ride in Florida." Just to recap, for this ride right here, VelociCoaster, always go regular queue. Don't do single rider line. Even if you are a single rider, regular queue's faster. And front row, in my opinion, is way better because you can see everything. There they go. So remember, if you want to come ride this awesome ride, then Ginger can certainly help you do that. Go to GingerMMT.com, fill out a free quote form. She'll be happy to help you get here to be able to get in line. Look at that. How about that? To get in line for this ride too.